Hello everyone, thank you for joining us again today. This is Israel Epstein with the 2 Hour Lunch, and we are looking at the Ruger 1022 today. Now, some of the things that I want to cover, and I've done a couple of gun reviews, and they seem to be pretty well received, so I thought I'd review the Ruger 1022. It's the ubiquitous rifle that is just everywhere. Everybody has one, and it's kind of cool to watch gun reviews. I like watching them and see what people have to say about these things, but I'll show you mine and what we've done to them. I've got Captain Smith's here. Leroy's is pretty much the same with the Tapco stock, and mine has got the original that I've modified. But let's talk a little bit about the Ruger 1022. Now, this thing came out originally in 1964, introduced by Bill Ruger and the Ruger Company. So it's been around for quite a while, and as such, this is going to be one of the really key parts about this review and about this gun, is that the amount of aftermarket parts for this gun is just incredible, offered by many companies. Any part that you see on any of these weapons can be replaced very easily, which is super cool. It makes for maximum customizability, if you want to use that word, if that even is a word. But right now, and for a while, there were several different models. They had a 22 Winchester Magnum version that was available from 98 to about 2004, and there was a 17 HMR model, the 1017, which was in the catalog for about 2 years only, according to Wikipedia and some of my other research, but I'm not sure how many of those sold. It'd be pretty cool to have a Ruger 1017 that shot 17 HMR. That'd be pretty nifty, but they don't make those anymore. Maybe they had problems with them, I'm not sure. But right now there are about 6 different models that you can get, and the first one is a Carbine Model, and that has a 18.5 inch barrel, and I'll show some pictures of some of these as we're rolling through them. And then you've got the Takedown, which is just recently introduced in, I think, 2012 or 13, where the action and the barrel break apart, and it comes in a little backpack case, and it's easy to take apart and put back together, so you can backpack with it. It's pretty lightweight and easy for packing, I think, is the whole sell point there. You've got the Target Model, which comes with a 20-inch heavy barrel, whether it's a bull or varmint contour, I'm not sure. I think it's probably a bull barrel. You've also got the compact version, which has a shortened barrel, which is 16.12 inches. You've got the Sporter with an 18.88 inch barrel with a checkered walnut stock and some swing swivel studs. And then you've got the Tactical Model, which is about a 16.12 inch barrel or a 16.12 inch bull barrel that comes with regular or bull barrel, and flash suppressor. That is actually the model that I have here, with not a bull barrel. It's a standard Sporter barrel with the flash suppressor on there. Is the flash suppressor worth anything? Well, it looks cool, and that's pretty much the extent of it for the tactical Ruger 1022. Is just going to look cool. It might look like a black rifle, look kind of dangerous, but it's really not. Like I said, the really cool thing is all the accessories, and we'll talk a little bit about those accessories, and I'll also talk to you about accuracy and stuff like that, and reliability. Now, prices on these weapons for just a basic model, which is, you have to kind of weigh out whether you want to work on the gun yourself or whether you want to buy one that's already pimped, because you can spend about $200, just slightly over $200, with fees and taxes and everything, about $225, maybe $230, for a really basic Carbine model, or Sporter model. And you can go all the way up to $500 with a tactical Target model. It has a bipod and a bull barrel, maybe a couple of other accoutrements that would make it worth $500. I don't know, but you could certainly buy that that basic model and get it to shoot really well. Now, for example, I have taken a basic tactical model, and I took my regular Hogue overmolded stock, and I did the bedding job on the front end of the receiver and just put a barrel pad in there. Some people freaked out on that, but it's very, very common to do the front portion of the barrel and the action when you're bedding a Ruger 1022, because the receiver is so lightweight that they really want a little bit of barrel rest. Now, that you can free float the barrel, and that's fine, but a lot of people don't do that when working with a Ruger 1022. They actually don't even bed the whole action. A lot of people don't bed the action at all. Some people will bed just the barrel and leave the action floating. So there's a bit of a difference when bedding a Ruger 1022 as opposed to a centerfire rifle. Like I said, and I'll show you clips of this, and you might have even seen it before in my video, where just this part of the action is bedded with just a little barrel pad up there, and you can't really see this, but it rests really well on there. Now the proof is in the pudding, whether it's accurate or not, and we will demonstrate that in a little bit. But I actually have, you can see that these rings that I have on here right now are UTG rings, and that's one of the good things about a Ruger 1022 is you don't need really sturdy, powerful rings and scope rail. I mean, there's no recoil, so you're not going to be needing super heavy duty stuff on there. You want good quality stuff, but it doesn't need to be, stainless steel, hardened steel or anything like that. Aluminum, carbon fiber might even work, but this has just got a regular a Picatinny 1913 Picatinny rail on it with some higher than I'd like rings. I'll probably get some lower rings to lower that scope down towards the barrel some, but in the meanwhile I just took I don't know if I've shown this before, but I took a curtain rod that was a wooden curtain rod. It's just a 1.5 inch dowel or a 1 inch dowel, and I cut it at an angle and then flipped it around so that it's angled down towards there, and that gives me a better cheek rest to get up off of the scope. But even if I was to get this scope down towards the barrel, I would still probably need to get my cheek up higher on this thing. I want to get a good cheek weld when I'm shooting. One of the other things that I did to this particular weapon is I put in a Kid Innovative Design trigger job. That's about $100. Money very well spent. That took this trigger down to about it's less than a pound. It's a very, very nice trigger, with very crisp, with no let off. It's a very nice trigger, and I've got a bolt buffer in there that makes it really quiet depending upon the type of ammunition that you're shooting. Like I've noticed that Wolf ammo is really quiet, and if you want to shoot subsonic ammo in this thing with a bolt buffer, that can get really, really quiet. It can shoot in a very almost silent manner. You don't really need to put a silencer on it. You can get ammo that'll shoot in this thing that makes it super quiet. But you can get, let's talk a little bit about the accessories on this thing. You can get stocks from like 10 different companies. I think one of the really cool ones that I wouldn't mind having for this later on is a Boyd's Tacticool. That's a really cool looking stock that looks like an FTR type stock, with a hook and high cheek comb, a flat forend, pistol grip style. It's a pretty cool stock. It's just I haven't gotten around to it, but I would like to get a Boyd's Tacticool to put on this thing. It'd look pretty nifty. You've got ATI Strikeforce, Tapco, you've got Hogue and Pro Mag and Butler Creek, and just Troy Industries, which is a really nice one, but very expensive, is like twice the amount for the actual gun. But yeah, there are all kinds of stocks that you can get. Bolt buffers, whole entire trigger groups, or just trigger parts if you want to just lighten the pull. You can buy barrels for about $100 from Green Mountain Barrels, or you can spend a pretty good amount of money on, let's say, a Kid Innovative Design bull barrel. You can make these things shoot very well. They can be seriously accurate. A Valkortsen. Some of the companies also make like Clark Custom or Valkortsen makes fully custom Ruger 1022s. They take the basic design and make a new receiver, new barrel, new trigger, new everything. It's basically a Ruger 1022, but totally pimped, I guess, if you will. Those can be very expensive. $1,000, $1,200. Incredibly accurate. Now, one of the things also is magazines for these things. Now, you can buy all different kinds of aftermarket magazines for a Ruger 1022. I do not recommend any of them. I only recommend that you use the actual Ruger branded OEM magazines, because they are, according to my research and my experience, these things just have considerably less failures to feed, and they are incredibly reliable, incredibly sturdy, and they just work. They are going to be a little bit more money, but when you've got a magazine that is reliable, that's one of the main things that will kill this gun and make it unreliable, is a crappy magazine. So if you're going to get extra magazines, these all come with the regular 10-round rotary clip, which is great, but 10 rounds to me is just not enough. So the BX25 is a winner for sure. We've tried one of those Black Dog, big honking round, 100-round cylinder fed, garbage, absolute garbage. I am terribly sorry. If you like that company or that design, there's been a lot that's been on the web for a while, and we've had experience with it too. That just doesn't work. Now, this one here, for example, is just nothing really has been upgraded except the stock. The stock was about $100, so this is about a $300 gun. So you got about $200 into the gun, and then $100 into the stock, or maybe even $75 or $80. It's pretty cheap. But this gun is also very, very accurate. One of the things I will tell you about, and I'll actually show you some footage of the accuracy tests on this thing, is that as far as reliability is concerned, use Ruger magazines, and it is a rimfire gun. It is going to catch up every once in a while. You're going to have a dud shell that just doesn't fire. You may have a little jam in here. It's really easy, though. Generally, I have found that there's never been any kind of stove piping or any weird malfunctions where it's just, if it fails to fire, you just work the bolt, get that bad shell out of there, and it loads again. So that you're not going to have a problem, and it's not going to be a real problem. It's just work the action, work the bolt once, and you're clear it and reload it, and you're good to go. So very reliable if you use the Ruger magazine. Now, accuracy. I will show you some footage here of the accuracy potential on this gun. Now, I will tell you that the accuracy potential on these guns is varied according to the ammo. It's really going to be the ammo which will determine whether your gun is accurate or not. Yes, you can put in some bedding, but even this stock one, except with a stock changed out, with basically stock model with no upgrades, is incredibly accurate shooting the right types of ammunition. I have found that Winchester Dynapoints are incredibly accurate in these guns. Wolf match ammo is also incredibly accurate in these guns. Cci Stingers are incredibly accurate in these guns. Cci Mini Mags, pretty good, not too bad, but accurate out to 100 yards even with these guns. You can get a 1-inch group with these guns with Cci Mini Mags. The other ones don't quite have the velocity that you need to get a good tight group at 100 yards, in my opinion, with a stock Ruger 1022, essentially stock. So at this point, I'll just show you some footage. I'll roll you some footage of us taking this thing out to the desert and trying 3 different types of ammunition at various distances, and you can see the camera action of where these things are striking on the target and how good the groups are. So check that out, and that'll be it for us. Alright folks, now we'll get to the shooting portion of this review of the Ruger 1022, and we're going to try 3 different loads today. that are pretty common for a lot of people. These actually, the Winchester Dynapoints, are not quite as common. They're a little bit hard to find, but I have found them to be pretty accurate in this gun before. We're also going to try some Cci Mini Mags. And then we've got Federal Auto Match. These are all 40 grain. Yeah, except for these Mini Mags are 36 grain, but these are 40 grain and the Dynapoints are 40 grain. Let's start off with these Winchester Dynapoints. And we'll do, check a little bit of sighting in and see how they group at 50 yards. So I'm going to load just a couple here to make sure the gun is sighted in. We'll do just 3 rounds to make sure the gun is sighted in. And let's see what we got here. Okay. Let's go to the bottom right diamond, bottom peak. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that hit near the center, so we may have to bring it down just a little bit. Okay, that looks really close to the second one, or the first one, excuse me. Okay, there's 3 shots. Okay, before we do any adjustments to the scope, let's see how these other 2 types of ammo are shooting. We'll take 5 rounds of the 22 long rifle hollow point Mini Mags. Let's see how those are printing on the paper down there. Got 5 rounds of CCI hollow points. Let's see what we got for this one. We will go to the bottom left diamond, bottom peak again. See where these print. Again, up near the center. So that's okay. We'll go ahead and pull off 3 more, or 2 more. There's 2. And 3. There's a 3-shot group right there. Okay. Okay, now we got a 3-shot group with Federal Auto Match. See how that goes. This time we'll go to the top left diamond, bottom peak. Probably hit the center again. And then we'll adjust the scope and do another 3-shot group. There's 1. 2. and 3. Alright. Okay, now we're going to shoot the same ammo combination in the same order, but now we are at 100 yards. And we're not going to change the 0 on the scope, we'll just leave it as it is and see how it prints at 100 yards. So let's start first with some Winchester Dynapoints. We'll try 3 of those for a 3-shot group at 100 yards. Winchester Dynapoints, 22 long rifle, 40 grain, hollow points. At 100 yards. This time we're going to go to the top right diamond, and since I'm pretty sure it's going to drop a bit, we are going to go for the top peak of the top right diamond. There's one. Here comes number 2, same spot. There's 2. And there's 3. Alright. Now we'll go to the Cci Mini Mag. Right, now we're going to do, for the Cci Mini Mags, we're going to go for the center diamond, top peak. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. Alright. Now we're going to go for the Federal Auto Match, which did pretty strangely at 50 yards. Our God only knows what they're going to do at 100 yards. Let us see. Now for this one, we will go to the bottom of that center peak, or the center diamond, bottom of the center diamond. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. Let's see what we got down there.